And now, the Big D and Bubba Weekly Podcast.
Big D and Bubba, they have a show 5 days a week, but they don't get to say everything that's on their mind, so they have an extra one, and that's how we get the podcast, the podcast, the podcast. Big D and Bubba's podcast, the podcast, the podcast. Big D and Bubba's podcast.
I have a new gold for y'all.
Happy for y'all.
Yeah.
Happy for y'all. Happy for y'all.
It's so great.
Tomorrow, first day of fall, and this morning we threw TVs off of the third floor to celebrate, and that's what came out of it.
Yeah, at the very end, I go,
Happy for y'all.
I don't know how that voice came out of that voice.
I'm not sure either.
Happy for
talent.
y'all.
It's talent.
Like there's all the nuances. Like Big D even says, it's not even the happy for y'all. It's you could have gone happy for y'all.
No.
But instead
Happy
you
fall,
went down. It was very fall-like. At the very end, you're like, y'all.
You know,
Happy for y'all.
the cadence is actually an impersonation of somebody I used to work with back in the day who would say, you know, all for the hall, y'all, and fall, y'all. It was actually impersonating him just with a different tone.
Oh, that's funny. I think we all have that. We have someone in our life that we've been around that we do little things to. Bubba has that's a great story.
There's a radio guy, dude. You'd be talking to him like this.
Yeah.
And we're having a good. Actually, he had a voice kind of like yours. Very good tone.
Smooth, yeah.
And he would go, okay, hold on, man. Hold on one second. I gotta do a break. Do this little dance. And he'd go.
Probably want a cracker. But Bubba and I would look.
Dude, he sounded like a parrot.
It was weird.
Oh.
And then he would turn the mic off and he'd go. Okay, guys, I'm back.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
like,
know.
what are you doing, man?
I don't know. It's like
I
your
mean,
best attribute, and you killed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know another guy that I worked with that when he'd be off the air, perfectly good, natural voice. As soon as that mic turned on, I don't know if it was a nervous condition or what it was, but he'd kind of start talking like, I'm like, what happened to that guy? Just
Little
heard.
John Wayne.
Yeah, it was just weird.
John Wayne.
I find that most jocks are funny off the air, and then they get on the air, and they're not.
That's right. I think that's true.
Because I don't know if it's...
Well, because they're trained to not be funny. That's the bad thing. Is that in radio, just to give a little behind the scenes, a little inside baseball, you're given these little books or sheets or whatever you want to call them. They're called liners. And basically it's stuff that is written out to tell the promotions of the radio station. And some program directors, bosses, managers, they are sticklers to you reading the script. Do the script, only the script. Maybe, you can say the name of the song, but only that, and that's it. And so a lot of people have had the entertainment and the funny beat out of them over their career.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that they're not taught to be funny. It's that they're not taught to be themselves.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Agreed. 100%.
And that's it. And listen, there's a lot of our industry has changed a lot, as everyone else's has. But back in the day, there used to be called boss jocks, and there were these guys that would some of them had a rhyme thing.
Can I tell you what I did? This week on the Weekend Wake Up, which is our weekend show, once an hour, I did a rhyming break.
Did you?
Yep. Yes, I did a rhyming break. I'm like, I haven't done that in 20-something years. I'm like, I'm going to have fun with it because I had some space to fill.
Who's the guy?
Broadway Bill Lee.
Lee.
Also, George McFly was a great rhymer. I mean, there's some great...
Yeah, but there's like 8 George McFlys when you look them up.
The George McFly that was at B96 Chicago. He was at X100
right. The
and all
problem is
that in
that
San
there's
Francisco
8 Marty McFlys. There's 4 George McFlys.
Yeah.
How many Eddie Haskells can we have? So when you go to Google them, you have to find which one you want.
Well, if you did George McFly rhyming,
yeah.
you could probably find him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a great rhymer. But again, Broadway Bill Lee, probably the greatest of all time.
See, I noticed you did that because I went back and just double-checked everything. And I went, oh, look at Bubba pulling out the jock breaks.
It was
bored.
fun.
It was fun.
Yeah, I was bored, and so we'll put all that together. Schaefer will assemble it, and then I'll come in and kind of squeeze everything together to make it exactly the way we want it. And so sometimes we have a little extra time in the hour, and I'm like, I'm going to do some rhyme breaks. I haven't done this in
it was
decades.
Old school, and it was fun. Yes,
I don't think they're very good, but I was like, let it fly. Oh, who are you finding?
Billy.
Billy.
WCBS FM and WCBS FM HD1 New York.
My favorite songs all day. It's all I listen to.
Just plug your phone in.
Always
yeah.
live.
Yeah, you have. Okay.
You have the technology.
All right, let's
Turn my phone up.
CBS FM, Broadway Bill wearing a bathing suit looking all leopardy. And by the way, what's wrong with the contestants on Jeopardy? You know, 9 out of 10 people who apply for game shows are rejected. That's got to be a blow to your self-esteem when you can't even be seen on The Price is Right.
Like, he was just so good at making these rhyming.
I thought that was good. Well, because I've watched some of his stuff online. I thought he was going to rhyme more.
Yeah, he did.
Well,
Yeah,
sometimes
that
he
was
didn't have a whole lot of time. He
No,
only
well,
had
I mean-
8 seconds.
Right, but okay. I've watched him, and that guy does it like nobody I've ever seen. Wow. Okay.
It's kind of that kind of deal. It's not my
Mine.
thing or our thing.
It's
really.
so clever. It's really difficult to
You
do.
know, they're doing it, and they're doing it live.
Yeah.
Like, they're rolling.
Oh, yeah.
He loves punching
yes.
those buttons and seeing it. Like it absolutely it triggers something in his brain. You can see it when he posts videos.
Yeah, so look him up. He's really good stuff. He's got really good stuff. Yeah, some of these old boss jocks, back in the day, they would just boom, boom, boom. It's all live. They're doing it right off the top of their head. And once they start that song, they can't stop it. And so they got to figure out what they're going to say and make it all make sense, sound cool.
It's really remarkable.
It was the golden era of the radio star. Like, you know, the way that we view TikTokers and Instagrammers and all these influencers. Radio boss jocks back in the day were those people.
They were stars.
That was the superstars in your life. So much so that they even made that what was that movie, the pirate radio one with
Pirate
Christian
Radio.
Slater?
Oh, Philip Seymour Hoffman, wasn't he in that?
No,
too?
that was Pirate Radio. He's talking about
The Christian Slater one
Pump
where
Up
he
the
was
Volume.
Pump Up the
That's
Volume
it.
or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, where he was in high school.
Yeah.
And he went and started this.
rise up in the cafeteria and
Yeah.
stab them with your plastic fork.
Yeah, they did this whole
That's one
thing where he
lines.
incited riots in
Yeah.
these things by
Yeah.
just using the power of influence.
And he was just a big dork in his basement, like
That's
the
it.
rest of us.
like
yeah,
the
like
rest
the
of
rest
us.
of them.
Like every day we're here.
A friend of mine called me the other day and he goes, "Hey, how come there's never been like a female jock named Lorraine McFly?" Because if they rip everything off from Back to the Future, and I'm like, it's a good question. I go, they make girls take fake names, but it's never usually a character.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Why is that?
I don't know.
I'll tell you who should be good. You may not be. None of y'all were around Nashville at that time. She used to be on 103 on KDF when it was rock. God, I can't remember.
The only one I remember is
Proud
Shannon
Mary?
was on there.
Shannon.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so good. Did you ever have a chance to work with her?
Mm-hmm.
She's so good on the air.
Yeah.
So good. Better than Carson. But
I
it's-
remember
Oh.
when I was a little baby DJ. So
Just gonna put this in my phone.
So
3
wait.
months from now, hey guys. So I got an offer. No, it wasn't to do an audiobook. It was
when I was a baby DJ, I grew up in the suburbs of New Orleans, just south in a town called Houma. And the rumor was, so where I grew up, you could listen to all the New Orleans radio and all the Baton Rouge radio. So you got to have all the influences of the big city. And I was told that everybody on 102, which was the top 40 station in Baton Rouge, was all the females on the station were LSU cheerleaders. That's what they all said. Oh yeah, they're all cheerleaders and
Smart.
and Golden
So
Girls.
smart.
And so they had this mystery of them being it. So one day I got a job there, and I showed up and I'm like, I'm going in.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to be Golden Girls
Yeah.
and cheerleaders. This is going to be like the world's greatest job ever. I walked in and no one was a cheerleader nor a Golden Girl. That maybe they were the age of the Golden Girls, but it was not the mystery that
I don't want to blow up anyone's spot, but this was probably like early aughts. There was a very big radio station that had a girl. It was a rock station. She just had that voice. Like I have a lowish voice. No, she had that. She opened her mouth and guys would just drool. And so she did a TV show where she would play like whatever rock videos for you, but she was always in shadow, right? So you couldn't really see her, and it's because it wasn't the same girl. They CC Music Factory'd her. So because the actual jock who had this amazing voice was not what they thought their audience would like to look at.
She was ugly.
She was. Yeah.
I love how you girl to that.
She was a larger.
She can't say she was ugly.
A larger
she
girl.
has to say it was
So
something.
they basically hired a model to be in silhouette, and
they just
piped
Milli Vanilli'd
her-
the whole thing.
They did. They piped her voice over it.
That's what they do to us.
Yeah.
Now that's also a terrible thing too, because think if you're the model, now you're not good enough to do the talking stuff, and that's kind of like the big thing. You go from model to spokesmodel to actress and so on and so forth. But that's you just saying, yeah, you're only good enough to be in silhouette.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
And if you're the girl who has this amazing voice, and we're like, boy, do you have a voice for radio?
Yeah.
That's your face. For radio too. Yeah, that's about it.
I love it when stations will hire the face. Mm-hmm. They go face and they get it backwards,
or they
And
or
it's
they
so
hire
bad.
or they hire influencers.
so
this person has a bunch of TikTok followers and Instagram followers. It's going to influence our station. No,
dude,
it doesn't, because you hire these
so many
people
times.
who don't have a following locally, and it's mistake after mistake after mistake.
Please tell Schaefer your story of you guys getting that kid hired away.
Oh my gosh, I forgot his name.
the
We didn't
best.
get him hired away. We got him hired on.
Oh, I can't remember the whole story. What was he?
Okay, so there was this guy. He was a club DJ, and he wanted to get on the radio, and he just wasn't good.
Was this in Louisiana?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was in New Orleans, and it was at the top 40 station. And I can't give too many other names because I don't want to.
Yeah, feel bad. It'll
fine.
hurt his
So
feelings.
anyway, this guy was like, I really want to get in. They're hiring a night person.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to put him together to make an air check. So we got him into a studio. A buddy of ours had a home studio, and we literally scripted out, produced fake phone calls,
Oh, yeah.
everything.
Yep.
And we made it sound like this guy was $1 million. And it was like, I wish I still had the tape. I don't. I know who does, but I don't know if he'll ever let that out in the wild. But anyway, so we get this guy hired, and it's like a really good job. I mean, it's a really great job. New Orleans back then in the
CHR
90s.
at nights?
Yeah, dude.
That was the thing. It was so this guy gets in there very first day, walks into the studio. We had to coach him ahead of time of turn the mic on, turn the mic off, whatever. So he had a guy in there to help him run the board. And so he gets in and he goes, song's ending, turns the mic on, song fades completely out. It's like dead air for a second. And he's like, up. And then he starts grabbing the scripts, the little liner things, and starts reading them. But he stumbles through the whole thing, hits the next song, and fires, I think, 2 or 3 songs at once. It was terrible. So we were sitting at my buddy's townhouse.
Drunk.
He had a rooftop deck, and we just sat there listening all night long to this horrific nightmare of a train wreck, and it was so fun. The guy got fired, sadly.
Of course he
midway through the shift, they replaced him.
Did they?
Midway through the shift.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
He didn't, it was a 4-hour shift. It was 6 to 10. He did not make it past 8 p.m. And they had a weekender actually. And the funny thing is, the weekender became the new night job.
Fly in him from
It was so
Didn't
bad,
even make it
man.
to the end of the shift.
It was amazing.
I'll tell you what, man. You can't believe people based off those tapes. This is
No.
another
And
excuse as to
also,
why.
if people wonder why we did it, it was a revenge thing. It was a revenge thing. It happens sometimes in all business. And we
Don't forget.
never forget. We're not only shaped like elephants, but we have the memory. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite stories. That and when you had the guy on the air and you kept messing with his headphones. That was good. This is illegal.
Okay. So the headphone
Story time with Uncle Bubba.
Yeah, the headphone amp for one of the studios was in the
Engineering room, wasn't it?
Yes. So they have a rack in the engineering room with all the stuff. You have all these Optimods and all these old Aphex compellers and all these things. And so the headphone control was in there, and it was feeding off of a regular radio, like a digital radio with presets and everything. So the guy in the studio is listening on the air, and he starts talking the song, and blah, 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 blah. So then we are in the other room, and you flip the radio station to like something else. And he hears something completely different than what's going out on the air.
Yep.
So he's like, blah, blah, blah. He starts doing all these.
That's what you hear. Can you imagine driving around here with this guy? Some madman.
Sounding like a seal.
It sounds like he's having a seizure on the air. I mean, it's like he's like, hello!
Oh.
And he's pressing buttons and firing songs. It sounds like madness.
He can't tell.
That's a great
There's
prank.
all this stuff going on. He's like, hey! Hey! Can anyone hear this? Then it gets the best. Oh, and then we flipped it back. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. He's pulling all this stuff down, and he gets his seat because it was back when we had CDs. Gets them all set up again, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, technical difficulties. We'll be right back. So he comes out and he walks around. We're hiding in the production room, so he doesn't know we're even in the building. So he goes back in. Couple songs later, he goes to do his thing, and he's like, blah, 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 blah. Boop. We change it on him again. What the beep? This is illegal.
I would listen to that guy.
Banging
I know,
around.
me too.
And like he's like, this is stop it. He's like yelling, thinking that there's somebody taking over the radio station.
That's great.
And so we hurry up and flip it back. The same guy, one day we show up at the radio station and he's got his car in the parking garage, but he left his keys in his car. So what do we do?
Yeah.
Drive his
that's
car,
right.
park it around the corner, and he can't see it. He doesn't know where it is, but it's safe. The end of his shift, made sure that I was there for the end of his shift. And he's like, he walks out of the building and he's like, my car! Where's my car? So he goes running all over out into the street and we're just laughing. Poor guy. I miss those days. I miss old radio was so much fun because it was before HR got involved. It was before like all these rules makers got in and put their fingers in it.
Yeah.
It was pandemonium. Everything you see, like if you ever watch that Howard Stern movie, the one where
Private Parts.
all that stuff, that was the way it was
Yeah.
everywhere. It was crazy world.
It's part of the reason I got into the business because I thought that's what it would be. And that's not what happened.
It is no, it's really not. It's not.
It's not.
It used to be really crazy though. Oh my gosh. And meeting the girls. That was, yeah. Was that a thing for lady jocks, like girl jocks meeting guys?
No, because you know what they would do? They would show up. Here I am doing nights by myself on a rock station and over by the airport.
Yep.
Not a great area. And I'm in a building that the stairs are outside. And it's a glass door.
Not a
so
secure
not only
building.
can you break the glass, you can also see me through the glass door into the studio.
And you
'cause the
can't
studio-
see out.
No, I could see out, but the point is that there's no blinds. So if you show up to the door, you can see me and I can see you. So this is fun, right? And so I had people show up one night and they're like, we just want to come in and say hey. And I'm like, that's okay. Like, sorry, can't let you in. I come down, my car's been vandalized. Cool.
What?
Yeah. And
Should
then
let
there
'em in.
was
Same people?
right. Well, I don't think separate people showed up that night to do it, but
Mama's got an investigation going.
so then there was one night some guy showed up and he calls me. He's like, hey, I'm downstairs in the parking lot. And I'm like, oh, okay. So now I'm like hiding behind in my little console. Third time I had a band come in. And the problem is we're live. So people are like, that band, we know where they're at. So they show up at the glass door.
Oh, and it was like a big band at
Oh,
the
yeah.
time?
They're like, we want to come in. And so the band, and they're like, oh, we just want to go out and
And you
smoke.
thought that was cool, though, that they showed up, right?
No.
Oh,
No,
really?
you stalkers, go home.
No,
I'm talking about
No,
the band.
Oh, the band. Yeah, oh, super
Yeah,
stoked
the
to have them there. But I was like, but you know how embarrassing it is to be like, hi, we don't have security. How are you? Thanks for coming to this rinky-dink operation.
Yeah.
And so people are knocking on the door. We want in. Okay, and the guys are cool. They're like, we're going to go out and smoke anyway. We'll go say hi to them. We want backstage passes. Because they were playing a show 3 days later. And they're like, well, you just met us. What do you need backstage for?
Good point.
Right? And they're like, well, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, hey, we got to go. I got to get them back on the air. Like, it was, for me, it was awful. It was awful. How had it been secure, like my first radio station, you had to go 3 different sets of doors to even get near my studio. And we were in a corporate park in a suburb. It was amazing for a little paranoid thing from Connecticut like me. This place, I was like, I'm going to die here. I'm going to straight up die. And they were like, oh, we'll have the overnight guy walk you out. I'm like, he's smaller than me. Like, what's he going to do? I'm going to throw him at whoever is waiting down there. But
I like all the old radio, like, with the glass. Like, that's not a thing anymore. You don't have, it's very rare when you find the glass window where the people can drive by and look in.
I did that because 2 jobs ago, our radio station's inside a hotel. Yeah. So we had a fishbowl studio. We'd see people staring at us all the time.
And you liked it or no?
Hated it.
Really?
Hated it.
We had that, and I liked it. I thought it was cool because it felt like, again, it was also a different time. This was 20 plus years ago, and it was cool. It was very rock star.
Nope. I had guys show up at the glass door with a sign threatening me one day.
Threatening?
Yep. And then when I had the audacity to ask about security, because I get it. Like, the guy that ran the place, I'm sure he saw nothing but dollar signs when I started saying, hey, you're just leaving me here to flounder. And this is literally what happened to me today. And do we have cameras? What's going on with, he didn't like that. I was mouthy. I was paranoid and mouthy. And I'm like, no, but that guy just literally showed up. So,
and that was before you had cameras on your phone, so you couldn't take a picture of the dude at the window.
No, actually, we had cameras on our phone, but even that was okay. So he didn't care that I had proof. There was actually other people there that vouched for it. They were like, no, this dude showed up. We talked about it on the air. I was like, so there's some random guy here. And yeah, but it was because I swear to God, all this guy could see was dollar signs when I started asking those questions about security.
Oh, how much money is going to cost?
So yeah,
so
I didn't last too much longer.
Yeah,
put a homeless guy on the air one time. I brought him inside.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, we did that. You and I did it too.
Yeah, it came from my idea when I did it originally before I met you.
Oh, no, I was just saying we did that too. Is what I was saying.
I know. What I just said. Yeah, that was good. I used to go out. I used to plug in the microphone cord, like the big long one, and I would go out and do traffic reports in Cookville on Willow Avenue Saturday morning at 7 a.m. There's no one there. I'm just there. My boss would go, hey, he'd call me Big Chief. Hey, Big Chief, let's don't do that. Because I was like, I want to do traffic that they do in Nashville radio. That's what I listen to.
Like the big city.
The real radio. Yeah, I listened to Y107, and they did traffic. They had a helicopter. At least I think they did. I don't know if they had a helicopter or they just had a sound effect.
We had a sound effect.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I'm not sure, but man, it was really believable.
So I worked at a station that had a sound effect, but also had a helicopter. But on the days the helicopter wasn't flying, we would use the sound effect.
Do you know what's crazy? Is WNBC.
No.
WNBC had someone that would call to the helicopter and feed the traffic reporter the traffic news. And then that's what so why was that person a helicopter? But they were legit, other than optics. To say that.
So what now? Say it again.
So let's say I'm the traffic reporter for WNBC in New York. I would have to have somebody on the ground call me and give me the traffic report, so then I could be on the air and be like, oh, hey, I see it's bumper to bumper on the GWB and blah, blah, blah. But I wasn't reporting it actually by viewing it from the sky. It was just fed to me by somebody in the office. It was just for optics to be like, hey, we're sky high and blah, blah, blah.
So they would just, they were in the helicopter.
They were in the helicopter.
Getting it from the ground.
But it was coming from the ground instead of, using a helicopter sound effect.
Well, that's kind of how it works now because all the traffic centers are very centralized.
Yes.
So most of your traffic reports, whether you're watching TV or radio or whatever, comes from the same place. And it's just fed out to the different
They get
sources.
it all from the DOT cameras you can get onto the internet, where the average person can just get the exact same report.
Yeah, but they would have to actually do the work.
The work.
I've heard people on the news reference Waze and say, oh, yeah. They're like, oh, yeah. Like there's being something reported on Waze that's not showing on our maps yet, but people on Waze are saying this street.
Oh, at least they're... because that's a thing. It's a real thing.
They're crediting it. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what I don't like about Waze? Whenever you put a little pinpoint, like, oh, there's a cop right here, they move. Like, the cops are using it too. And they'll see that they get pinged, and they're like, well, let me move.
I pulled over one time to check an email. I'm on the side of the interstate for, like, I don't know, 3-4 minutes tops. And then I put my phone back on, hit Waze, and there's a cop right where I am.
You're the cop. People reported thinking you were the cop.
So I hit, is it still there? And I went, yep.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm still here.
But your vehicle does look like a cop car.
It is a
It
cop
is a cop car.
Yes.
Have you ever been in it?
No.
It's all, like, you can puke in it. And there's holes in the back where it drains out. They're like, if I hit a puddle and water goes up inside my car. There's 2 drain holes.
That was
two
me
drain
off-roading last week.
It's in the back where they keep prisoners or whatever people that are handicapped.
So if they pee or
so
whatever,
they pee,
in
and
there.
then they
No, I know
spray
why,
it. Yeah. But there's no caps. I don't have. It's just open. You can see right through the ground, and I have holes all in the inside where they took out like emergency lights or equipments and radio, their laptop. I have a whole thing in between my seat. It's like a square platform that you build up the thing that they have in between them. Anyway, so they pull it all out and they just sell it.
Do you have bulletproof glass?
No, but they don't either.
Say that. Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
I just got the craziest thing. So Carson just pulled up her phone. She got an invitation.
A DM.
She got a DM. Somebody slid into her DMs and made her an offer right now, and she's about to leave us for her new career.
Yep.
Where you
Buy and sell feet pics.
Oh,
Yep.
no.
Do you have good feet?
No.
Well, there
But
might be people. I mean,
that's
there's
the point.
feet for
It doesn't
everyone.
matter.
It might not
Yeah.
matter. Yeah.
Oh,
No, but-
yeah. Maybe the worse is better.
Yeah, but even it's like really like we're gonna delete that, but okay. Thanks though.
That's
for,
your escape hatch right there. You're like, I'm out of this stupid business.
That's okay.
Feet pics.
You're right.
We had a friend who used to sell her socks.
Yep.
Yep.
That's the craziest thing. That was
know.
real.
It's a real thing.
It is. People are weird, man. People are weird.
Happy for you.
I'm going to be picking up my cow. I have to leave.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, at least it got me. Happy
for you.
There it is. It's back. Yes.
All right, so are you done? You're
Yeah,
gonna
I've
go.
got it.
You're
Yeah,
gonna
I've
go
got
get
it.
your cow.
Quarter cow.
I'm
Quarter
going back
cow.
to mom and dad's to help finish their
nice.
walkway. And what are you doing this weekend?
High school football tonight, and then a ton of college football tomorrow.
We got college games tonight.
Yeah.
College.
I'm going to be busy, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's a big night tonight and tomorrow.
And what you got going?
Packing.
On? Oh yeah,
That's right. You're moving.
big move for Carson. Do you need any more boxes? I know I forgot to bring some today, but I can bring some to you before I leave town if.
No. I think I'm okay.
Or I could bring some to you on Sunday.
No,
You'll
no,
know
no,
for
no,
sure
no,
by
no,
then.
No, don't worry about it.
We've got some
no, I
boxes
appreciate
here,
it.
too,
It's
actually.
cool. No, I think I'm just about. Think I'm just about good.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Also, I've gotten to the point where I just look at. I go, why do I have so much stuff? Just get rid of it. So.
Carson is moving very near the studio, and I lived that life for a year, and it was awesome. It was so nice. I wish I could have bought the apartment I was living in for that time because of the convenience. It was 2.5 blocks away from the studio. It was amazing. I could wake up, pee, brush my teeth, get whatever, boom, out, and be here in 10 minutes.
And somehow you'd still be late. I'm trying to figure that out.
Well, because I knew I could sleep later. It was amazing.
Anyway.
Happy for you.
You'll have a great first day of fall tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Carson, I'm not talking to you.
I've noticed that Carson hate is real on this podcast.
Really?
Well, no, he told me I wasn't like. There's
Oh.
people better than me in the radio.
Oh, that's
and
right.
So,
Oh,
yep.
He's been dissing her a lot.
That's
on
yeah. I
this
would say
podcast.
strike two. Strike two. D.
Those feet pictures are looking better, aren't they?
All right, Luke
she's
Grimes.
not as good as you, by the way.
Luke Grimes, Casey Dutton of Yellowstone. If you're listening on an audio version of the podcast, that is coming up next. Also, I do want to ask and beg that you please share and spread the word about our podcast, both on YouTube and here, wherever you're listening to your podcast as well. Share it, that kind of stuff, because we need all the eyes and ears we can get, because we're a small business. You know, we're trying to support our families, and some of us have 2 house payments because we have alimony.
Okay. I didn't know if you wanted to go there.
Anyway, please share and help us out. Thank you so much. We love you.
This was the podcast, but now it's over. But that's
over.
okay,
Died,
'cause you can listen to the regular show
Happy for you.
on the radio every day.
Happy for you.
It was the podcast.